Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're glad you're here. Our guest today is Colette Wilson, and I wanted also to greet Jessica and Ramey.
Hello.
And Colette, we're glad you're here. Very glad you're here too. And I'm going to read your bio, and so people can know more about you, and then we'll get into a great conversation.
Excellent.
Colette Wilson is a spiritual mind-body integration coach. With a profound understanding of the journey toward spiritual awakening and self-empowerment, Colette offers guidance and support to individuals who are new or seasoned on their healing and spiritual awakening path. Her clients learn to honor their emotions and inner wisdom as valuable guides on their journey and to integrate spiritual insights into practical, actionable steps for real-world application. She is also a certified Breath Masters breath coach and a 9D Breathwork affiliate. And in the description below, you'll find a complimentary Breathwork sleep aid that you can get through her and a link to that. And she has a free consultation call that you could use that link for. And her social media connections are below there too. So, Colette, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
And I'm real curious. I found out a couple days ago we have some things in common, and please tell us part of your story, whatever part of your story you want to tell us, and how that led you into the work you're doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I get this question asked a lot. So what do you really do as a mind, body, spirit integration coach? And I love that question. And so I love to share a story. We're all living in the home that our grandparents built. And for some of us, that home is no longer safe. For others, that home is just too small and we need to expand. And for others, that home just needs to be redecorated. So I help people as like a general contractor for your life. I help people by giving them the tools and the resources that they need so they can design their persona and cultivate their dreams.
Beautiful. Yeah. So how did you start that work? Or
Well,
what led up to you doing so?
Yeah. So my background is actually as a middle school and high school math teacher.
I saw that on your site. That was so interesting. A great big change from one to the other.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the heart of that is my passion for teaching.
Yes.
And coaching. Because as a math teacher, I was always a coach, a teacher and a coach. And that's kind of like in the fabric of who I am. And it didn't take me long to realize that I didn't want to teach and coach people through math, high school math especially. And I began a journey of self-discovery by quitting my university job. I had all of the retirement and all of the benefits that go with that. That was just this carrot that was dangling in front of me. And I woke up one day and I said, I'm not doing that. And I walked away from it all. And I said, there has to be a better way at living my life. And I moved to Colorado and I navigated the medical marijuana industry, very interestingly. And that was giving me resources, but it wasn't giving me this internal fulfillment that I was looking for. And I ended up in Sedona, Arizona 10 years ago at a shamanic soul retreat. It was not a plant medicine retreat. It was just a heart opening retreat. And that's the weekend that my heart cracked open and everything began to shift. And I began to question everything that I was taught. I was raised in a very conservative, now what I refer to as a religious cult, was raised a Seventh-day Adventist and was raised with some very interesting beliefs that I needed to begin to question. And so for the last 10 years, I've been questioning everything and finding what resonates with me, because that's what's most important, what resonates with me. And so when I share things with people, I'm like, take what serves you right now and leave what doesn't. Just because I believe it And just because I believe it today doesn't mean that I'm still going to believe that in the future. Like I'm constantly evolving, and things that even 5 years ago that I held as a truth are no longer true to me. And that's okay. I don't believe that there is a one size fits all, that we're constantly learning and evolving. And so there may be something that I say today that resonates with you. Excellent. Run with it. And there may be something that I say today that someone's like, no, that's fine too. That's fine too.
Very nice. Excuse me. Very, very nice. I like the aspect of always changing and growing, because I have found that so much in my journey too. It's I had come out of Christian beliefs also, and the Adventist church, and it's like, I think religion as a whole, or the churches as a whole, are trained. Not that the individual people are at any fault of this, but they're trained to bring people in and keep them in, and not to continue the path of growth. And so when you are in that place and continue your path of growth, you have to leave. You really don't have a choice, because they don't want you. and you're not comfortable there anymore. And to continue fulfilling you and what you need, you have to leave. Yeah. And all that leads to, and family upset, and changing friends, and having to meet new friends and new jobs, and it really impacts your life in a big style.
And I love the way that you mentioned that it's like part of the journey. Like I never think religion is bad or evil or the worst thing. I think it's a great opportunity for some people. And I use this analogy that when you have a goldfish in a fishbowl, and that fish is receiving food every day, that fish in the fishbowl thinks it has life figured out, and life is so good and it's amazing. That's religion. It's beautiful. But then you take that fishbowl and you stick it in the ocean. For some fish in that fishbowl, that ocean seems too scary. They might get hurt, they might get eaten, they don't know where they're going to find their food, and they would just as soon stay in the little bowl and have their food fed to them where it feels all nice and safe. But those that decide to jump out of the fishbowl and into the ocean, they're scared at first. They're terrified. Something's going to eat me. I don't know where to go. Nobody's telling me what to do. And it's like you find your own flow. You find your own way, and you navigate the oceans. Neither one is better. They're just different.
Right. Like, I don't know about you. I had children during the time I started making all my changes, anywhere from they were in junior high through adults yet. And then I continued to change, right? And so I was having this lengthy conversation with my younger son and his wife a month or so ago. And it was just beautiful, deep sharing, I guess. And so my younger son says, so do you see then all the steps that you made, all the changes that you made as stepping stones to where you get now? And I said, exactly. I meant they were all valuable. It was
and necessary.
And necessary, because I couldn't jump from my the church I grew up to in my hometown to where I am now in one jump. Some people could, but there's no way I could. It's taken me, I don't know, I started probably in 2002, I suppose. So a good 20 plus years of change so far.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's stepping stones.
I even look at my religious upbringing as a benefit. Like I was taught from a very young age that there is something outside of myself. And I learned that it's not just me. And that's a beautiful gift that I received from being indoctrinated in the doctrine of the church. And it was a gift, and I'm grateful for it. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Rami and Jessica, have you had similar experiences at all? Nothing you want to share? Okay.
I
So,
have. I've always seen things a little differently though. I always was bigger minded even within the church. So I think I had parents, especially my dad, who growing up, he even got kicked out of the church that we were in because of his bigger views and thoughts. So I even as a young girl, I think saw the beauty of the people and a lot of the beautiful beliefs and the ceremonies, like baptism. It's a beautiful thing, and the different things. But then when people start saying, well, if you're not baptized in this church, you're not going to heaven, and we have to tell everybody. And then the people, it's always intrigued me. And sometimes I even forget that, a lot of times you hear in some of the churches, not all, I'm sure, but that, how sinful we are from birth. And we're just, we need to be saved and how just innately sinful we are. But then God lives in us somehow. And I'm always trying to figure out, like, how does that work? So I guess we're only good if we allow God in, but then if we do something bad, yeah, it gets confusing, doesn't it? I mean, sometimes,
well, I think it is
it's
dissonance, right? I think, what's that called? Where you have two sides pitted against each other. And so it creates the dissonance. You don't know what to think. And that's very much part of keeping you stuck, just like stuck in the mindset or the mindset of lack, or the brain waves of the fight, flight, or freeze, that we're so in a chronic low grade set, because that's the patterns we're used to of rushing here and there and reacting in the old patterns. And so that's the dissonance, I think, that religious beliefs, I should perhaps just to phrase it in general, including New Age, right? Anything that you create or hold to a certain set of beliefs, especially those that you're told or taught, then create that dissonance in your mind that keep you scared, that keep you stuck in the old patterns so that you feel safe.
This is why people will stay in abusive relationships. The relationship is toxic. We have beautiful moments. There's toxic moments, there's beautiful moments, and the brain cannot hold two opposing views. And so it grabs onto one and it's like, oh, he's a great person. He's a great person. And then he does this. And, oh, he's a great person. The dissonance always keeps people stuck.
Well, and part of relationships, then it confuses things. You have the hopes, right? The dreams that you entered that in, and the desires that you have for your life or for your children, and to have to, I mean, it's like death, right? Divorce or separation in a deep relationship is like a death, perhaps in some ways harder, because especially if there's children involved that you share, then there's a continued relationship of some kind, right? And perhaps harder than death in ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Colette, I was trying to, what did you first start with in your business then, when you left the mathematics teaching, you left the colleges, and how then did you find yourself and start working, start in to find what you maybe tried several different things until you found what really resonated with you? What did you do?
I jumped into the deep end head first, and I went down the shaman path. And my first, when I went to Sedona and had this heart opening experience, it was with a shaman. And I immediately knew, I was like, I have to be a shaman. I don't know what this is, but I got to figure it out. And that's what I want to be. And so I went back and studied with that teacher for a couple of weeks. And then I spent the next couple of years studying with different shamans from all over the the United States and in Central and South America. I studied with two particular shamans for 2 years. I did kind of a residency internship with two shamans in the mountains in Colorado. And that was really where I thought, okay, this is how I'm going to make a difference in the world. This is my calling. And it was through that, working with the shamanic energies and living with one foot in the seen world and one foot in the unseen world, is where I was kind of navigating. And I would hold sessions for clients, and I could get their energy systems balanced, and I could get their chakras all cleaned out and clear out entities. But they kept coming back. And I started working with plant medicines and different animal medicines to kind of facilitate this, but I was still noticing that I wasn't seeing the huge transformation that I had had in my life. And I knew there was something deeper, and I was trying to understand what changed in me and how can I help people make that change. And that's where I found my most current mentor and teacher, Kim Guillory, who taught me the mind-body integration. So this is where I spent a year learning the mind-body-spirit integration and how do we integrate this into our body so we have lasting change. So that was kind of where I transformed from changing myself first, radical. Like what I say, when I jumped in the deep end, it was like I jumped in the deep end. Like I was like throwing everything else out that I knew and creating a new life for myself on the inside. And through that process, I wanted to help other people. And I realized that it is a deep dive within ourselves. And each person is so individualized based on the mindsets they have, the stories they've had, the beliefs that they have, the emotions that they're unaware of how to feel and process emotions. And so a lot of people know we have a lot of head knowledge, but to integrate the knowledge from the head into our bodies and into our emotional bodies and into our day-to-day, moment-to-moment life is really my passion now.
Yeah,
I'll talk
beautiful.
about integration all day long.
No, please continue. Yeah.
It's, I use this analogy of an upside down triangle where the mind and the body, so we have our thoughts and our emotions, are guiding us. And at the bottom of the triangle, we have spirit. And this is how most of us are living by, my thoughts, my emotions, I'm making decisions based on my thoughts and emotions, but we're not our thoughts and we're not our emotions. We're actually a spiritual being. And so I like to help people flip that triangle. So spirit, their higher self, their essence, the truth of who they are is actually the guide. And then following behind are the emotions and the thoughts. So as a mind, body, spirit integration coach, I'm really a lot of times flipping that switch for people and helping them process the thoughts. You're not your thoughts. And process your emotions. You're not your emotions. You're actually a divine consciousness. You are God eternal in the body. And so leading with that first, it's not a switch that you just flip. It takes time. For some people, I can coach people for 3 or 4 months and their life will never be the same. For other people, it's a couple of years. The program and the subconscious beliefs are so strong and so ingrained even in their DNA, that it takes time to be able to shift and uproot these beliefs, these subconscious patterns, and it takes time. And so it's not a one size fits all. People are like, well, how long do I have? I don't know. It just depends. It depends. It depends on a lot of things. Resistance is a big one. If you have a lot of resistance to shift, if you have a lot of resistance to change, if you have a lot of resistance to learning something new, then it's going to be huge for you, and it is going to uproot and disrupt everything you've ever been taught. I remember one of my first shaman teachers, she was like, you just don't have a lot of resistance. And I'm like, I'm willing to just let go of whatever. Like, just like, tell me the truth. Give me some time to fight with it, and then let me embody it, and then let me show up with this new truth. So I came with a very willing spirit.
Beautiful. Yeah. I think our work, my work and yours parallels quite deeply. Just different on the surface, but the work is definitely the same underneath.
Yeah.
And I lost
What
my
are you
train of
doing out
thought.
in, oh, sorry. What are you doing out in Sedona right now?
I am in Sedona right now, which is interesting. I was here 10 years ago and everything about my life changed from that moment. I am here for a Fit for Service retreat with Aubrey Marcus. It has been a retreat that has been on my radar for 6 years since they started the first one. And I'm doing my first one starting Sunday. So I am so psyched that it's in Sedona, where everything for me changed in Sedona.
That
It was
is so
like,
awesome.
yeah. Sedona is potent for me on so many levels. So I come here and I know that I leave and I will not be the same person. So I'm excited to take whatever medicine that I learned from this retreat and the people that I connect with, and to allow this to be medicine as I continue on my own path.
I'm supposed to be out in Scottsdale hopefully next week, and then I'm going to go up to Sedona. So hopefully we'll see.
Oh,
Fingers
cool.
crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Rainey, you have any thoughts? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Colette.
Well, I was going to say breathwork has been a big part of the work that I do and in the shifts that I have made in my life. And when we really think about the importance of the breath, without the breath, our body ceases to exist. It truly is essential. And when we intentionally bring the breath of God, the breath of life, the spirit into our bodies, big shifts happen. So I'm a big proponent of daily breath work, 5, 10, 15 minutes a day. I'm also a big proponent of doing these longer extended breathwork experiences that really allow us to have these big shifts that happen. And I work with a very unique breathwork experience called 9D. And 9D breathwork is combining the ancient technology of breath with the latest brain biohacking technologies. So when I hold these breathwork experiences, people have headsets on, and the music is crafted with binaural beats. So there's a beat at one tone in one ear and a beat in another tone in another ear. And this causes brain entrainment, gets you into the theta brainwave state. Why do we want to be in theta brainwave state? This is where we can reprogram our subconscious thinking, our subconscious beliefs. So the faster that we can get into theta and the longer we can stay there, the more we can program. So there's binaural beats, there's solfeggio frequencies, which are toned to different emotional frequencies. It's tuned to 432 hertz harmonic tuning. There's neuro-linguistic programming and subliminal messaging. So we get the brain into theta as quick as possible and maintain it for as long as possible. And then we reprogram with subliminal messaging. All of this is done with multi-directional music, high quality sound, and guided vocal coaching with a theme. So this is like taking the ancient components of breathwork, combining it with the latest technology for literally a mind-blowing experience. And I host these online each month for $11, which is an amazing deal. You come to my live experience in Kansas City, it's $125. So way different if you do it online. And then what I also offer is, because breathwork can help us if we're tired, it can help activate us. And if we're activated, the breath can also slow us down. And we have to be able to be in that relaxed state of reception for change to happen. And so I mentioned one of the gifts that I give to your guests is a sleep aid, which is this 9D. So it has all of the brain biohacking technologies mixed with a breathwork experience that is going to down regulate you and prepare you for sleep. Because if we're doing this work of integrating our thoughts and our emotions, we need to be having good sleep. If you're not getting good sleep, I really believe that healing is not, it can't happen. Sleep is where we rest and we heal. And so it's a first step for people, but I offer it as a free gift. It's a 20-minute recording. You'll want to put your headsets in, and it'll guide you through kind of a short yoga nidra, moving through the different parts of the body, connecting you in with the sensations in the body. And it has the brain biohacking technology, so it helps you go to sleep really fast. And it's got some subliminal messaging and subliminal programming as you're slipping into theta and going into sleep. So this is my gift for people, because if you want change, sleep is often an area where we can have the greatest impact in people's lives.
Beautiful. I think I'll try that tonight.
Yes. I want you to. It's an amazing experience. It's about 20 minutes long. About the last 5 minutes, you're just like drifting off into sleep. It's a good one.
Very good. Sleep we got a puppy now, and it's like sleep has been very irregular for a few weeks.
Tell me about the puppy. What kind of puppy do you have?
No, we have an Australian Shepherd. We have her biological sister. They have the same parents. So Millie is 2 years old, and she's a tricolor. And then the new one, Maggie, is 4 months old and is a merle, so kind of spotted and speckled type dog. But they're both Aussies, and very sweet dogs, very powerful energy. But still having to get up once or twice in the night to pee. So
keep you on your feet. That's awesome. I love dogs.
For sure. Yeah, they're great. I didn't know about dogs. I had them as a child, but I had forgotten, I guess, what they were like until, I don't know, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, we got a beagle. So ears flopping all over and tongue hanging out and always happy to see you. And but I realized, because I took her to work with me every day, I had my own real estate and broker office, and she would sit right beside me on the armrest of my little pickup, riding beside me, looking at everything. And I realized, dogs are in our world, cats are in their world. Right? It was such a big difference I noticed between dogs and cats then.
Yeah.
So I've been a dog fan ever since I noticed that.
I'm a big fan.
Colette, how would you feel about leading us in a short breath work exercise, and then we can kind of discuss, anything we noticed during that? Would that be
so
okay?
I would love this. And this is a great breathwork sequence when you feel activated, when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel like stress, anxiety is coming on. Anytime that you want to down regulate the system, I'm going to take you through this breathing sequence called 4, 2, 6. So I'll guide you through it. We'll inhale for 4, briefly hold for 2, and then a nice long slow exhale for a 6 count. We'll breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth like you're breathing through a straw. All right, so just taking a moment to find yourself in a comfortable seated position. If it feels safe for you to close down the eyes, the invitation is to close down the eyes. And just begin by noticing the body, noticing that you're actually supported, noticing that your back is supported, the legs are supported, just noticing that you are supported. And as I mentioned, we'll breathe in for a 4 count, hold for 2, and we'll exhale for 6. We'll breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth as if we're pursing through a straw. And we'll begin on my count in 3, 2, 1. So go ahead and take a deep breath in, 2, 3, 4, and hold and release. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold and release. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold and release. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold and release. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll do 2 more rounds. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold and release. Beautiful. Last one. And inhale and hold and release. Beautiful. Just checking in with the body and noticing what has shifted. Yeah.
Well, I like how you did it 6 times, because I know often I can connect with my inner spirit and things in 3, but sometimes I'm not. Sometimes my mind is spinning too much to do that. And so 6 is really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for playing along with me. This is my go-to breath experience, breath sequence, I should say, for just daily life, because there's so many times that we get activated. And as soon as I notice that my heart rate is beating, I'm like, oh, long, slow exhales. And I notice it throughout the day. I mean, and I'm not even a highly stressed person, but I will just even notice where I'm like, oh, I need to hurry. It's time to slow down. So this is just my go-to. I was driving my car the other day and I popped up over a hill. I wasn't speeding, but I saw a police officer on the side of the road. Just immediately my heart rate starts beating like I'd done something wrong. And I just immediately went to long, slow exhales. And it didn't take long before I was like, oh, I'm regulated again. So we get dysregulated all the time, whether it's traffic, going into Walmart, whatever it is. And we can use the sequence all the time. It can be your go-to.
I think getting pulled over by a cop or, sheriff or whoever you get pulled over, it's happened to me 2 or 3 times in the last 5 years or something. And it's like from when it was when I was first with that, then now it's like, well, I don't know, a couple of years ago, we were pulled over and we had moved to this our new place here, and we didn't, I had lost track of, when we renewed our car plates and stuff, right? So we had gone a year and a half without renewing. And it was like we got pulled over. We were going through another little town not far from here and got pulled over. And instead of that big thing where my husband and I both looked at each other and said, oh, well, I wonder why he's pulling us over. We weren't doing anything. It's like so common. hi, officer, how are you today? And I was like, it's amazing. It's a great way to measure
Yeah.
progress.
Regulation. It is absolutely. Absolutely. Practice makes progress. And as long as we're continuing to progress on our experience and on our journey, that is success. There is no such thing as perfection.
So how do you explain to people then, say like I do, because I think it's I call it being in chronic low grade fight or flight, that constant, increased breath, so
Yeah.
you're not centered and
Mm-hmm.
grounded. And
Mm-hmm.
so how do you, one of my mentors always said, keeping one eye on the inside. So you're paying
Yeah.
attention to this at the same time you're paying attention to what's going
Yeah.
on around you. And that's what I try to work on for myself, trying to always keep part of one eye on here. How do you explain that to people? Or
Yeah.
how do you?
So my background, although I was a math teacher, my background is actually, my college degree is in human physiology. So understanding the physiology of the human body has always fired me up and got me excited. And when I started studying breath work, we talked a lot about the vagus nerve. And it's interesting that this is very, very little talk about the vagus nerve in medical school, in my undergraduate degree in physiology, very little. But the vagus nerve, for many people that were exposed to trauma, especially early on in life, that vagus nerve became highly dysregulated. And for those of you that don't know, the vagus nerve is the longest nerve in the body, starts in the head, and it goes through the entire torso. It's often referred to as the spirit nerve. And when the vagus nerve, when we get taken off balance, off center, the vagus nerve will determine how soon and how quickly we come back to center. So those that have low, we call it vagal tone, those who have low vagal tone, when they get pulled off of center, it takes a long time for them to come back to regulation. Those that have high vagal tone, strong vagal tone, it's harder to get them off of center. And if they do get off center, they're back to center very quickly. So a lot of talk about the vagus nerve and the importance of having strong vagal tone. How do we get vagus nerve? How do we strengthen our vagus nerve? Well, there's many ways we can do. Yoga is a great one. Oming is a great one. But what I have found is the fastest and quickest way to get the vagal nerve to regain its tone is through breath work. And it's not only with breath work, it's with holding your breath. So I'll have people take 10 deep breaths and then exhale and hold their breath. And for most people, they can only hold their breath for about 10, 15, maybe 20 seconds. All the bells and whistles, all the alarms are going off. And this is where this shows that the vagus nerve is dysregulated. It has low vagal tone. Through practice, we can strengthen the vagus nerve really, really quickly by practicing these breath holds. And we're teaching the body CO2 tolerance, which is also the byproduct of a dysregulated vagus nerve is poor CO2 tolerance. So we hit both of these with one stone of practicing holding our breath. I have a client right now that has a severe lung disorder. She's been seeing a pulmonologist for 10 years. She starts working with me. Within 6 weeks, we increase her lung capacity by 300%. All she's doing is holding her breath twice a day, taking some breath and holding it. Her cardiac output has increased. Her lung function has increased. She's breathing better. She's sleeping better. She's feeling better. And I'm like, has your pulmonologist ever talked to you about breath work and holding your breath? And she's like, no. Asthma, air hunger. It's not because you don't have enough oxygen. It's because you have too much CO2. The body doesn't know how to tolerate CO2. You can cure asthma in 90 days. Easy. You take 20 breaths, hold your breath. You do that every single day and asthma will be virtually gone in 90 days because it's not air hunger. It's not that you don't have enough oxygen. You have too much CO2. This is why inhalers work. They open up the alveoli so CO2 can leave. You have a buildup of CO2 in the body. Yes.
I had no idea. So when you say breathe 20 times, just normal inhale
No,
through your
let's
nose,
let's
exhale
are you
through your
open to
nose?
let's go through a little exercise. Okay.
Oh, I'd love
So,
to. Yeah.
yeah. What we're going to do, I'm going to have you simply take 10 breaths, and I'm going to direct you on how to do this. I'm going to have you breathe in and out through the mouth. And we want to take as deep a breath as you can. So ideally, if you can bring that breath into the belly and then into the chest, and then relax and let go. If the 2-part breath is too confusing, don't worry about it. I just want you to take 10 of the deepest breaths you have ever taken. Okay? In and out through an open mouth. And then I'm going to have you exhale all of your air and hold. And I will guide you through the hold. And we'll see how long you can hold your breath. Okay? We'll begin in 3, 2, 1. So taking a deep breath in and let it go. Beautiful. Breathing in, deep breath in, feel the belly, feel the chest, relax and let go. Deep breath in, into the belly, into the chest, relax and let go. Breathing deeply, relax and let go. We're halfway there. Deep breath in, relax and let go. Deep breath in, relax and let go. Deep breath in, relax and let go. Last one, deep breath in. And I want you to exhale and hold. And with your breath in, I want you to relax your body. Notice your throat. Notice your heartbeat. Slow it down. Notice your feet. Notice your hands. Relax the shoulders. Let the body do what the body knows how to do. Continue to relax. You're doing an amazing job. You're safe. Beautiful. Continuing to hold. Relaxing the throat. Relaxing the back of the head. Beautiful. Doing an amazing job, allowing the body to do what the body knows how to do. We're at 1 minute. You're doing an amazing job. Noticing the sensations in the body. Just becoming aware, the feelings, the sensations. Giving your body permission to relax and slow down. 1.5 minutes, you're doing an amazing job. Allowing the body to process, to feel. Beautiful. 1:45. There we go.
I can do it.
Beautiful. Nice job. Nice job. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. My thought went to when I was like junior high or something. I was reading a book on the man Houdini. He would like have people wrap him in big heavy chains with big padlocks and put him in like chests where you couldn't hardly breathe, and put that chest inside of something else and throw him in the water, or
Yeah.
all these different things. And it would he would surface in 10 minutes or something, right? Completely out of chains and free and out of everything. And it's like he would have had to have trained himself somehow.
Yes. Yeah. David Blaine is another one who does some pretty remarkable things. And he is a big breathwork proponent. And it is through this daily, once again, training the body how to process CO2. This is how we increase lung capacity.
So, like one of the first things I had noticed, even on the breathing in and out stuff, it was like I felt so lightheaded. I was wondering if I was going to pass out or
Yeah.
not. Right?
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
do you have people deal with that, or what's your
That's
advice
a
on
great
that?
question. So when I hold these breathwork experiences, you're doing that breathing for about 45, 50 minutes. And so I tell people it's best to do these laying down because you feel like you're going to pass out. And it's okay if you do. If you're lying down, perfect. You're going to be safe. All sorts of sensations when we have this oxygen and CO2 exchange going on in the body, all sorts of crazy sensations. So you even notice that by breathing in just 10 really deep breaths. Yeah, we start oxygenating the brain, we start oxygenating the cells in the body, and it becomes, yeah, I'll have people that do these breathwork experiences, but like, I felt like I was floating, my whole body was tingling. Yeah, yeah. Energy moving through the body.
Very cool. Wow. I do other types of breath work. I mean, as part of my work, I try to do the central channel breath where you're
Yep.
breathing in and
Yeah.
out and breathing in from the earth and out and
Mhm.
things too. And then since I work in people's biofields, we breathe, send that breath around the edge of your biofield as clearing
Yes.
energy, right? Because the breath work then,
Absolutely.
that's how I noticed it in myself to start with. It's like, oh, well, it would get sticky, at whatever chakra I was going through. So I would just concentrate, focus on whatever that was and breathing through there until that cleared. And then the
Yep.
next
Yep.
place, wherever that was, I'd put my place there and my focus
Yes.
there as I'd breathe in. And slowly I could feel energy moving and it was much more freer. And so then I started around the outer edge
It's like the
and
Taurus effect around the body. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I love that you use breath to move energy, because this is when we have stuck emotions, when we have stuck thoughts, when we're stuck in our physical body, the breath moves. It's bringing God, it's bringing in source into our
Absolutely.
body and using it and directing that sacred energy source through our bodies. I'm a
Well,
big
yeah.
fan.
I've been changing some over the last few months how I work. So I still use tuning forks in the biofield a lot, but
Mhm.
I've also been toning or singing
Yes.
whatever comes to me. Often it's a ancient language. It's not
Yes.
like what people
Yes.
call a light language. I know it's an ancient language and it just comes through. Sometimes I know what it
Yeah.
says, sometimes it doesn't. But what came to my focus more and more, I'm using just my hands or particularly my breath. It's like I'm directing my breath to move that energy, and it happened automatically. I mean, I didn't intend to do that. It was suddenly I was realizing,
Yeah.
and I'm guiding that breath around. I mean,
Yes.
I
It's
consider it
fascinating.
the deeper I get in intuition and what I call magic, working with spirit and integrating this energies into my life and my wholeness, the deeper my work gets through breath and touch. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. No, the breath it's absolutely fascinating. We have the capacity to heal our bodies, and the breath is one beautiful way to bring in the sacred breath of life, bringing it intentionally into the body for whatever reason, to feel better, to remove density, to feel happier, to slow down, to speed up, to go to sleep, to run faster, to run slower.
Well, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but I had read, oh, I don't know, five, no, more than that, 8, 9 years ago or something, that it was the correlation in a study that was done between women who had cancer and women who didn't. And those who wore a bra more hours during the day, the longer hours in a day that you wore a bra, the higher the correlation for cancer, for breast cancer. And breast cancer doesn't run in my family, so I wasn't real worried about it. but I wanted to be as healthy as possible. So when I got to the place where, I slowly increased the time I wasn't wearing a bra, but I still wore it for work and stuff. And when I left the standard work and we moved off grid, I said, that's it, no more bra. And it's amazing the freedom
It's easier to breathe.
It's easier to breathe. And particularly for me, because a lot of my old stories, my old emotions that from trauma or other things in my life was sadness. And I particularly contribute stopping wearing a bra with allowing me to begin my healing journey, because it allowed, instead of trapping that energy around my heart, it allowed that to start freeing. And within months, within like 4 months, I was dealing with this deep sadness and grief and loss that I hadn't been able to deal with for 5 years since my dad died, and other things that happened. And I think it was just that started it, that allowed me then to say, okay, I can't do this anymore. I have to heal me.
Yeah. This brings me to a wonderful invitation on October 2nd, Tuesday, October 1st. I am offering an online breathwork experience for guilt and shame.
Oh, nice.
I did it actually a couple months ago. We did one on grief and loss. And that was a really, really powerful one, that going through this grief and loss process is, and I think a partner to that is the guilt and the shame. I go with those together.
In my life, they were both huge struggles, right? They were tied together, definitely.
I love that connection between freeing your boobs and freeing your heart. Like, it was just like, I just want to sit here and shake and freedom.
And I get it. I'm fairly small busted, right? And so and for people that are larger and heavier, it might not be as comfortable. But I was tuning someone the other day, not my standard tuning. I've been helping with a horse ride. One of our guests, Kelly Daniels, who was on in May, I believe, and she's doing a memorial horse ride with other Native Americans this week. And I helped a tiny bit over the weekend with it. And I had my tuning forks and was using that to relieve some of the physical stress in the bodies of some of the women who were riding, because they're not used to that. And so, it jiggles them. So they had headaches and backaches and shoulder aches. And one of them, I was working on her back, and I was telling her about the bra thing. And I said, you really should. She in particular admitted she had had a deep loss in her life. And she knew that's what was hurting her more than anything else in her body. And so I said, it will help you grieve, right? To limit the amount of time you wear a bra.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And grief, I heard this definition recently. Grief is the heart full of love without any place to direct it. And it's like we grieve the loss of somebody, and it's like we have all of this love and we feel like that we can't direct it, and it starts to come out. So I love that. I don't wear a bra very much, so I'm.
Well, hey, and I'll just, for whoever's listening here, right? If you wear a shirt that shows a lot through, or that, your nipples are going to stand out, you can use Band-Aids.
There you go.
Cover your nipples and wear a patterned shirt, right? And then don't even worry about it.
I'm to the point anymore. I'm like, I
know. Who cares? That's right. Everyone knows you do.
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah. Let the tatas fly. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I
I
thought.
love that story.
Many years ago, I had quit wearing slips. That was the thing when I was growing up. I'm 63. So, you always had to wear a slip under your dress. And I just quit, when I was in my 30s or something. And I thought, it's just not worth it, because my thought was, Princess Diana, in one shot that I had seen her, before they were married, or what, when she was really, really big in the news and stuff, you could see right through her dress she had on, right through her skirt, and she had legs. And I thought, hey, everybody knows we have legs, right? What are we hiding? So, I never wore a slip again.
That's awesome. That's
It's just
really, really
freeing.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And allowing your body to do what the body wants to do, move in freedom. And women have been exposed to so much shame and the hiding. I mean, you walk down any beauty aisle and your hair's the wrong color, your skin's the wrong color, your eyeshadow is the wrong, your lips are the wrong color, your nails are the wrong color, your hair's not the right color. Like, you go down the list and we get all of these messages that we're not okay just the way we are. And I'm here to tell you that, yeah, you are. Absolutely. And it's okay if you want to put pink in your hair or purple in your hair. That's okay. And
It's fun. Yeah.
right. But you're beautiful just as you are. Just as you are. Perfectly imperfect. Flaws make you perfect. And embracing those and celebrating those as women, it's our gift and our duty to let this next generation know that natural beauty is beauty.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's such a perfect note to end on. And that's lovely. And so, Colette, could you tell people again how to get hold of you? Or
So I'm pretty active on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me on Facebook, Colette Wilson. I am also on Instagram, Colette_Wilson, and on TikTok, I am the spiritual mind body coach, I believe. And there should be some links down. You can connect with me on my social platforms. You can also, if you sign up to receive the sleep aid, the Breathwork sleep aid, you'll be on my email list and you'll get all of my offerings. I'll email you about once or twice a month, let you know all of my local offerings and my online offerings. Each month on the last Monday of the month, I hold a Breathwork experience online for $11. And I offer a free integration call. I'm big about integration. I don't want anybody ever to step into my field of awareness, get broke open, and not know where to turn. So I am there for you. So it is an honor to be here. Thank you for having me as a guest and letting me share my woo-woo side and let me just let it all hang out and be me. It was so much fun. Thank you.
thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Jessica, for connecting her here with us all. So thank you all for watching. And well, if anyone's still here, I'm going to show please like and subscribe, help us grow. And we'll catch you next time. Thank you again for joining us. Bye-bye.